broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome into the UnREAL After Show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube, and iTunes. We are talking Relapse today on, of course, the new show UnREAL on Lifetime. I'm Bobby DeMuro, that's NicholasGrava, and that's Aja Monet.
Get it right, spelled AJA.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys?
Doing great.
Excited?
Doing good, of course.
We got a lot to talk about today. I think we're all pretty happy with where the show is going. I know you guys probably were last week. I'm excited to be joining y'all. Before we jump into it, a couple quick things. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. We know that you guys love YouTube comments on every show we do here at AfterBuzz, so keep doing it here. Nick has the laptop out. If you are watching the live stream, start typing, start talking to us. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your feedback. He'll be monitoring it all day. And we got something special for you guys. Last week we've been doing this. Podcast1.com. You guys can review us there. So we hear from you, you tweet us, you YouTube comment, all that stuff. If you want to review us and let us know how we're doing, give feedback on shows, you can get a little more specific. Go to podcast1.com. You can review UnREAL. You can review pretty much anything else we do, because I know you guys watch a lot of the shows that we do. So podcast1.com for that. All right, guys, let's talk Rachel. A lot to talk about with Rachel today. And the main storyline is Anna, the death of her father, all that's going on. We lead in with Rachel, and I think this is going to be a pattern. She's completely overworked. We see her sleeping in the back of a production truck.
What did you think? I thought that was
life.
I thought that was a little bit cheesy, the opening of her like doing the flip in and out. And I don't know. I wasn't like...
I just thought trifling.
Yeah.
In what way?
The sanitizer all on her body, the digging and scooping the deodorant. I'm like, come on now.
You got to do what you got to do when you're on set, right?
Yes,
Strug life.
Life. She is something else. I guess it's interesting to see this, and I don't know how much you guys talked about it last week, but I wonder how much this parallels real production on a show like this.
We sort of were struggling with that and wondering, you know, how much of this is absolutely crazy and how much of this is sick reality of what actually is happening.
And how fun is this for the actors to be able to make fun of the crew, because they never get to do that. They're playing, you know, different parts. Now they get to play the crew members they deal with, and I'm sure they're poking fun at these people.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
And it's got to be a confusing set when you have a crew producing it in the back and then a crew on camera with the same equipment. It's got to be kind of a confusing...
I love shows like that. For some reason, it really gets me.
I'm impressed with the show. I mean, I've obviously seen the first two. I didn't join you guys last week, but it's really fast. A lot of stuff happens. It's exactly what you'd expect. And we see a lot of that today with the manipulation of these girls. And we'll get to Athena and Faith and a couple of the other ones later, but I want to start with Anna and everything that went down with her. Aja, you and I were talking about this. The shrewdest move with Anna is every time she yells at the camera, Rachel, or whoever the producer is for other ones, steps back.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're yelling at Adam, or you're yelling at another girl, and they can edit that stuff together.
Very strategic.
So
very strategic.
What I'm learning is The Bachelor may not be as real as I thought it was.
You thought it was real? I mean,
No,
I've never
of course
really
not.
seen it. Like, I've never seen a full season through. I've seen episodes here and there, but to like they say, like, to get the ratings they're trying to get, boring reality TV will not get them. When everything's just like all good and kosher and everything's fine, it's not going to do it. Who's tuning into that?
And I kind of feel that way for most reality though, because it's kind of like whenever we get or leading up to a fight scene or anything like that, it's kind of you kind of get the big moments. That's all you kind of catch. But there could be somebody there instigating, getting it riled up, and it's all about the bottom line ratings. They want money.
And speaking about money, that $5,000 bounty, and that's the place to start.
Hello.
When we're talking about Anna, because Rachel, and she has other incentives for this money, and we'll talk about Bethany in a second, but just the money in and of itself. Rachel is going against Jay and Shia and these other producers to get a villain, and she finds a villain in kind of an unlikely place. I'm not going to debate the legality of the $5,000 bounty. I think it's production crew. They probably do whatever they want. But the morality of it,
It's wrong.
Suspect.
Yeah, very.
Little off.
Where are your morals, girl?
Quinn, is Quinn so far gone? Is she just completely emotionally dead because she's produced for so long and she just knows what the equation is and she doesn't feel anything anymore? That's what it feels like.
I think she has absolutely detached herself from it. I don't think in life, because we see through her relationships and things like that, she does have morals and she does have feelings with it. It's just that she called him her meat puppet the first episode. So really, that's a hint into what she thinks these people are, how she sees them.
But I feel like in reality television, I feel like you have to sort of detach yourself and kind of leave your morals to the side, because it's all about, like we've been saying, getting those ratings. So of course she's probably put, or has been put in predicaments where it's kind of like, I really shouldn't be doing this, but I got to get this check, you know? So that's why she kind of does it. But I think Quinn sees a lot of herself in Rachel. And I feel like that's kind of why she kind of has her go head to head with the other producers on the set, because she knows Rachel's going to get it done. Right. She's the one, she always finds those token.
That's the thing, I am waiting for the time when Rachel doesn't have the winning chip. When Rachel isn't the best one at the job.
And Shia wins.
And we learned last week that Rachel didn't have the winning chip last season that we didn't see when she got drunk and had the meltdown.
Dang.
Even though they used that on camera.
Even though it got ratings and went viral.
She nearly screwed it up. The other thing about Rachel that I look at with Quinn is Rachel seems to not only get the right thing, the winning chip, she also gets it in the most unlikely of places. You know, we've seen her work non-traditionally. We saw it in the first episode. And then today, Anna, father died, sad moment. Rachel turns it into freak out, psychopath villain, like what Quinn said. You've got Athena, who's ready to play a villain. She's like, I'm game, take me, I'll be a villain. And then you've got Faith, who's kind of aloof. And then you've got some of these other people who are, Pepper, who's kind of duped into playing a villain because she's not that smart. What's her name? Anna is smart. Anna's capable. Anna's heartbroken and sad, and somehow she's the one who come across as angry.
I really believed Rachel in the bathroom scene when she was consoling her. I was like, oh, well, finally, homegirl got a heart, and she's like about to really console her. That's how she had me last episode, though, and it's always like those moments where I feel like, okay, here's her trying to really show her emotions, and it's kind of like, let me pull that plug. You know, that's where she kind of detaches herself. It's that's like how she's good at her job, really, is that she plays
reels them in. She's pimping them.
So here's the question for you guys, and for you guys at home, actually. We'll open this up to you because we want to hear the comments or the live stream if you're doing it on YouTube right now. Does Rachel believe Rachel? And what I mean by that is, because I go back and forth. There's some scenes where I say, Rachel has a conscience. She doesn't want to do this anymore. She knows this is BS. She feels terrible. And then there's very next scene, I'm like, damn. She's shrewd. She knows how to play the game. Is Rachel playing the game the whole time? Is she wrestling with it? Or is she about to have a meltdown, a real meltdown, and say, I can't do this anymore, it's immoral?
Is she close to a meltdown? Yes. Is the meltdown going to take her away? No, because this is her paycheck, and I think she needs it for those reasons.
So specifically a morality meltdown. You don't think that she's close to that? You don't think she's going to turn to Quinn?
And the first episode, I thought more. In this one, I don't think it's going to come soon. In the pilot episode, it seemed like it was any day now. Yeah. Literally any minute she was going to. Here, it seemed like she knew, like, not telling Anna things about her father was wrong, but yet she wasn't struggling so much with how heavy that felt to not do it. Yeah. It seemed. I think they're extending that plot line from what I thought.
For me personally, I feel like she's definitely wrestling with it a bit, but at the end of the day, she kind of knows this is her job. And I feel like she wants to be in Quinn's position at some point, because at the end of the first episode, when you kind of saw her in the control room and she's looking like, I got all this. Basically, like, she has all of the power. So to me, it's kind of like she knows what she's doing isn't right, but it's kind of like she kind of gets a rush out of it too, because even when she handed her phone to Quinn at the end, she kind of gave her that smirk, like, you know, like I got this type of thing. So it's kind of like an adrenaline rush. She thinks she kind of enjoys it at the same time.
She does. Oh my gosh.
The smirk she gave her was like...
That last scene in the pilot when she was staring at all the cameras and everyone in the house. I mean, come on. That's a woman that is, like, turned on by that stuff. She's into it.
And who doesn't get turned on by power or having some type of authority, you know? So.
Well, Faith probably. She's just a good old girl.
Right?
Oh man.
But that's the weird thing about Rachel too, is she's I mean, obviously lost in a lot of ways. We know she's lost in relationships. We know she's probably lost in finances, from what we understand, with not paying rent and doing all that stuff.
Having no house.
Yeah,
or
she
room.
doesn't have anywhere to live.
Living in like a gaff truck.
It seems like that stuff. I love this show. I love how fast this show moves. I love how we're going to miss stuff on this recap because so much stuff happens.
Definitely.
Yeah. So warning for you guys at home, we'll probably miss some little things. But the one thing I'm worried about with this show is what we've seen from Rachel in the first 2 episodes develops a pattern. And you have to develop a pattern early. The struggle, is she going to break down? Is she not? But we need the pattern to progress and not to stagnate. Yeah, I need a climax. And I don't need it in week 3. I'm not saying it's boring now because it's not. I'm just saying I want it to get heavier and heavier every week, and in week 5 or 6 or whatever, then it climaxes. And that's the only worry I have, is that she's just going to keep struggling, and the same old is going to keep happening.
I don't know. I can see that 100%. I think that the storyline with her and Adam could develop into giving her something else to play or something else to sort of have to move her forwards. And also, I'm really intrigued, and I want to know what you guys think about that relationship, that back and forth.
I think she had a relationship with that shower, not with
She
Adam.
is going to give it up. Okay, she's going to give it to him. I know it. When I saw that shower scene, how they edited that scene, like when she started undressing herself, I'm like, ooh, she's about to go be a thought, And then when I saw her like by the toilet, I'm like, oh, she's just gonna go use the bathroom. So maybe they're like the bromance type of thing. Yeah. And then I saw her get in the shower, and I'm like, oh, she is about to give it up to him, that easy. But then she just
I was in the mindset of that, and then she kept being like, don't look at me. And because she was like, that shower looks amazing. But when he was walking away and he was stripping down, she was like, and I was like, was she doing that for the shower or Adam?
And sometimes
I'm gonna go.
Listen,
when we say don't look, that means look.
100%.
Don't look. Are you looking?
100%.
Implicitly.
Yeah. The weak link in this relationship, not really relationship, but the weak link in this connection is Adam. He likes real people. That's why Faith is still around. That's what he likes about Pepper, not the manipulated Pepper.
No, here's the thing. Is that why Faith is still around, or is Faith still around because he just likes messing with the whole thing of doing the cliche?
He could like messing with the whole thing, but I think I'm not saying he's in love with her. I'm not saying she's going to win. I think he actually has a connection with her, and for that same reason, he's got a connection with Rachel because she doesn't take no crap. And that to him, I think, is attractive because everyone here is fake and scheming and doing all this stuff. And he looks at, an Athena or somebody, and he's like, what is going on? I'll keep her and play the game. She made it through another week.
Right.
But he knows what's going on with that game. He looks at Rachel, who's obviously not in the game, and he says, hey.
It's kind of like if, to me, I completely get what you're saying, Bobby. I kind of think to him it's like, okay, I'm going to play this game, but if I'm going to play, you're going to have to play by some of my rules. So I want a couple real, genuine people around me, or I'm going to lose my mind. Because I would have freaked out too. I was like, cut the camera, I can't take it.
And he was real enough to not want to bring Anna back from the funeral. He goes, he has this really heartfelt thing. I believe him. I didn't think he was BSing her at the funeral. And he comes back to Rachel and he's like, it's not going to happen. Like, she needs to be with her brother. And then the wheels start turning. But I think his first reaction, Adam's first reaction, is to be the real guy, the nice guy. As unlikable as they tried to make him in episode 1 before we got to know him, he's actually a real likable guy.
Yes, he's a likable guy, but we have to see that he really isn't there to find love. He never has been there to find love. He's there to change his... So it's an egotistical standpoint. So yes, I agree he's nice, but is he really there to care about any of these people?
Opportunists. I mean, they're all there for some. Well, not everybody, but
don't we see the story arc that the PR, the guy who needs PR, who's there, who's jaded, who needs to rehab his image, meets the producer who's there, who's jaded, who doesn't care, and they fall hopelessly in love. That's the story arc,
right? That's not spoil season 1.
Well, I'm just
in a nutshell.
Just consider it a prediction, and I know there's going to be a little left turn in there somewhere. But that's the story arc, and I think that's what makes sense right now. Now the kicker here are other little things. One of them being Jeremy. Obviously, I don't think Rachel still has feelings for him. We know that that's dead and gone, and Lizzie's too nice of a girl. And
I don't know that she still does.
I think she does.
You think she doesn't have feelings?
I think when Lizzie came to her today in this episode and was like, "Do you need any?" Whatever she said, not verbatim, like, "Do you need anything? We're here to help you. We're worried about you." It wasn't patronizing to me, and it could have been. It was really genuine, and she kind of killed Rachel with kindness.
You know what? And I got that too, but I had to write something down about that.
Let's see.
It should never be friends with the other woman.
100%.
So it's to me, it's like, okay, I'm going to keep it cordial with you, but still it's like, girl, you got my man. That type of thing. So it's kind of like keep your enemies a little close. I feel like she is still kind of attracted to Jeremy. He's good to look at. I mean, I can just give that up like that. So, I mean, I definitely feel like they're both semi-attracted to each other. But as far as the interaction with Lizzie, I felt Lizzie was being very genuine. I did get that.
What about, okay, so when you think, when Lizzie said, when she was like, oh, and I heard about it, and she said, okay, and then she was like, oh yeah, it was really bad for both of you. Because she said that to her, and I was like, oh, is that her trying to be like,
some shade?
Redefine what you think this is. Yeah.
Or I took it maybe to mean that Jeremy had manipulated her, and she was ignorant to the situation, and Jeremy told her what it was.
That's what she really believed.
And then she was like, if you need me, I'm here for help, But rule number 1, ladies, you never become friends with the other woman. Ever. Ever.
And all of this that we were talking about is pretty much irrelevant because of what happened at the very end of the episode. The email, all the stuff from Bethany. Yeah, you were so scared when you looked at me.
Lizzie gonna find out
I missed
something.
That really got me. I didn't think that the roommate was going to actually go through with it. And when she won the money, I'm saying, like 10 minutes, okay, TV drama, but like at least you made it.
I really liked the way that they ended it like that.
Definitely, I agree.
They didn't leave Rachel the decision to make the moral choice, or we see how she's going to go. I don't know what Rachel would have done. I know she was counting the money, so I think it's kind of inferred that she was trying to count out $3,900 maybe.
Yeah.
We didn't get the opportunity to find out, and I think that's awesome.
That text in, she's like, you 4 minutes.
But my thing was just, this is me thinking and knowing how PayPal works. How was she going to get the money into her bank account?
I thought the same thing.
Get an overdrawn balance? Like,
why wouldn't you done that an hour ago and just run the risk?
They do have the credit
You
now.
can't just feed in dollar bills to the DVD.
But she had right. I would have helped you out, girl.
But that's kind of the cool thing about that storyline too, is not only does Rachel not get a decision about it, but we get to see the worst of both worlds. What she didn't want to have happen with the laptop happens, and really what she didn't want to do to Anna, she did to Anna. So it's like, when you kick them when you're down, you screwed up both. If it were 1-1, it kind of evens out. If, Anna goes home and it's a happy story, but she loses the laptop, it's like, well, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Both happen. It's as bad as it can get.
Or is it at the moment of when like things are so bad that you just don't care? Maybe, you know what I mean?
Totally.
You just cut loose and you're like, well, F it. I'm just going to do everything I can to get the best show. And you've already done so much bad stuff. You can't be like, next episode, I don't care how nice you are. You've already done things in episode 1 and 2. You're done.
I want to see what's on that computer, because them on a surfboard or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to say. Nah, was that?
But even if
was the video we were watching?
But to me, it's like even
that was the preview. That was
a softcore. Haven't you seen Kim Kardashian's sex tape? You start with the softcore.
Oh, you lead
up to the Mimi Foss.
Okay,
but
like even if it's racy, like. Even Lizzie knows they were together at one point, so you'd be like,
given
you'd be like, oh, this is a given.
But did she also send the email? Because didn't she say you also
like
sent
a
the email
letter
that was like basically like a proposal?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that also was sent through.
But even if that was sent through, it would just make Rachel look bad. Like, what would be so bad for the entire crew? That's what I'm interested to see.
No, that's what it is. I think it's making Rachel look bad and also messing up the relationship with Lizzie.
Exactly.
That's too. You see that, you're gonna be like, oh, now the whole crew.
And we don't know what exactly Jeremy told everybody about all the rest of the cast or the rest of the crew, and what he told Lizzie too.
Yeah.
So we can kind of see his lies. What's done in the dark shall come to light. So
yeah,
we're gonna see a lot of that somewhere.
And I do like it how the exposition is not only in the present but in the past. We learn about her melting down, drinking, causing the scene last season. Now we're going to learn more about Jeremy in the past, whether we have a flashback or whatever. That's going to be an interesting thing to learn about.
Do you think that's going to be a theme with it? Do you think like each episode we're going to continue to learn more about that?
Until Rachel's birth, absolutely.
Especially given this.
Wonderful. That's what I've been looking forward to.
A baby Quinn.
I'm going to tell you guys something. There's also another new show that I can't wait for. I know you can't wait for it either. We were talking about it earlier. So it's Astronauts Wives Clubs. And this summer on ABC, we're going to flash back to the 1960s when America is racing to send a man into space. And 7 elite pilots become the country's first astronauts. Now, as these men became heroes, their wives rocketed to stardom. And it's based on a best-selling book. And this is the story of the first ladies of space. So through triumph and tragedy, they forged a friendship that lasts over 50 years. So the Astronauts Wives Club premieres Thursday, June 18th on ABC.
Let me tell you about this show.
Tell me.
Because
There's two things. I cannot wait for this show, and I don't mean that in like a, hey, let's plug it. I mean I cannot wait for this show. This is one of the most interesting times in American history. It is, I do a show on AfterBuzz called Manhattan. I don't know if you guys have seen Manhattan on WGN. It is about the atomic bomb, World War II. Astronaut Wives Club is essentially, and it's a different production, so it's going to be a different thing, but it's essentially the next time after World War II. It's these same scientists, these same, Army, these same Air Force people in the next realm, which is space. And if you guys at home haven't read The Right Stuff by Tom Wolfe, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that book. I recommend it.
Is that the book that...
I don't think they based this on that book, but that book is about John Glenn and all those astronauts and their wives and their families and what the families had to go through when they were trying to get into space.
Bam.
The book is fascinating. You've got, 10 days to read it. It's called The Right Stuff. Then you watch the show.
For some of us, that's not enough. 10 days
Or
is
Spark
Notes. It's a big book, but I recommend the book, and I really recommend the show. I cannot wait for
Shout
that
out
show.
to the women holding it down, because I really love that, the way, the context behind it. It's good to see.
And the show looks good, and it looks like it's going to be a good wife companion to the husbands. Tom Wolfe, The Right Stuff, is more on the husbands, although it does do the families. This is going to be mostly about the wives.
Perspective then on that. I'm excited too.
I like it.
You might see me do a cameo.
All right, let's move on to... Okay, first off, I want to talk about some other relationships, some minor characters, at least at this point minor. Chet is one of them. One thing I want to call this show out on, Chet snorting cocaine in that scene where Quinn comes in and confronts him. When you snort cocaine, you have to behave in a certain way, and he didn't do it. They're very specific behaviors. One thing he did that I liked is he took, I don't do cocaine.
He took the remainder.
He took the remainder and he put it in his gums. That's one thing you do, and I liked him.
That's what
doing
they do in the movies, and they test it, and they're like, okay, that's pure.
Exactly.
It's expensive, so he's like, I want every drop.
One thing two things you do when you're on cocaine, and I know it's not instantaneous, but if this is a guy who does it a lot, he would exhibit these patterns. And one of them is... You're snorting. You're sniffing hard because you want to keep getting it up in your bloodstream. It feels like it's stuck in your nose and you want to keep getting it up in your bloodstream. He didn't do any of that. And the other one is, when you do coke, you feel invincible. You can take on any problem. And I realize it's not an instantaneous thing and he just snorted it, but maybe it's wrong for me to assume that he does it a lot. So when she comes in with a problem, I would have expected him not to sit there and say, whoa, but to come out banging and be like, let's fix this. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I can see that, and I do think he does do it a lot, only off of her reaction of it. It wasn't like she was like, what is it, what are you doing now? Like, she was kind of just like, oh, now, right here, like, really?
It was almost stereotypical. TV producer doing cocaine, and it was just a given for her. So if he does it that much, that was one behavior that stood out to me. Like, he's got to behave like he's on it, and he's not doing it.
Or maybe he could have been just looking for, like, I just got to get high really quickly, because given the circumstances, his wife, she's older, she's pregnant. He wasn't expecting a baby. He has this side wife, she calls herself. Yeah. He has this whole other little family thing going over here. So it's probably like, I just need to get high. And so it's kind of like the build-up.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be instantaneous if that was like the first time he did it that day. So obviously, maybe I'm nitpicking. But it was just and they had a couple minutes in that scene. It was two little things where I was like, that's not the behavior of a coke. I don't know, but that's just a nitpicky thing. More importantly,
when he said, wait, can I just say, when he was like, she is old, I didn't know, and then Quinn was like, she's 2 years older than me, and I was like, oh, that was like that a lot, actually.
Chet is the perfect, I guess he's really the executive producer. He's the money man.
I think he's the creator of it.
The creator, he's the perfect kind of executive producer, creator, Hollywood big shot, because he's always talking about money, and he's heartless. He's like, well, the baby, like, it might not even be mine. And it's early, like it might not even happen. And you're like, oh, God.
Right.
Don't know.
Yeah, and then I loved how she summed it up, too. She's like, oh, I'm supposed to rely on these two things so we can be together? I'm sorry.
I'm supposed to rely on her being a slut, or what was the other one?
Or having a miscarriage.
Or did you just say that? Yeah. She just came out and said, that to me is like, Chet, don't say that. And then the side chick, don't offer her a home.
Well, I was confused.
That's just to keep her comfy.
Was he saying like, oh, this is like our, this is our future home together, or was he saying like, take a home and we'll be together
his or her bedrooms, his and her bedrooms
together?
He's not.
But then when he kind of gave it to her, he kind of propositioned it to her like, but it's yours. Type of thing.
When he handed
it's always something else with him, and I get that from a lot of men. I'm not saying all men, so don't attack me out there. But that's definitely what I got. He wants to kind of cushion her, basically, kind of keep her at ease. So let me buy you this house. I'm gonna say it's ours. It's really yours. I'm hardly gonna be there because I got this wife over here. Right. But I bought it for you. You know, that type of thing. He's trying to sell her this dream, and I feel like he's sold her that for a very long time. She's been the other woman. Never be a man's side piece.
And when you do that, and this isn't every case, but it seems like when you do that in this situation, she's going to become, if she isn't already, a piece of property, just like the home.
Yes.
Because he says, hey, I have this house, go live in it. And when she does it, when she does what he wants, when she plays his game, and she has for a long time, he's like, hey, you know what? It'll get better later, but right now I need you here. I need you to do this. And the cycle keeps continuing, and just like Rachel eventually is going to break down in some way, Quinn in this relationship needs to break down and say, hell no, needs to take a stand at some point, and maybe that means she gets off the show, maybe that means who knows what, and maybe, and I'll make a prediction right now because it's in my head, maybe if Quinn takes a stand and Chet removes her, that opens the door for Rachel to produce, to be the head honcho.
Because
I would miss Quinn though.
I love Quinn. I don't know the actress's name. I can't think it off the top of my head, but I love her in all the shows that she does. She's amazing.
That would make for a good reality storyline too, like the wife, his wife throwing all of her stuff out of her house. Yeah. That would make for a good storyline as well. But I don't see them really removing Quinn as of yet. But I kind of see, it's really crazy how Quinn is having her own situation going on. But I can kind of see why she doesn't respect the other girl. She doesn't respect herself. She's here being a man's side piece.
That's
He's
a
married.
fair point too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I now, given that, I really don't expect her to respect him. She don't respect herself.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you guys probably talked about this last week, and I'm sure we'll see this a lot more. And it's not really a deep thought, but they're trying to produce a reality show, and they're trying to create drama, but all the drama is happening behind the scenes.
I thought
that's
the
the drama,
thing
right?
Yeah.
If you took Quinn and Chet and Rachel and Adam, I guess you'd have to bring him now, and maybe a couple of the girls who have kind of now intertwined a little bit, and you stick them in a room, that's the show.
It's so true. Okay, but this is the one thing that does, and maybe this is true to reality shows, and I'm just unaware. How do these girls listen to these producers so much? Come on. If you're at it on a dance floor and the producer's like, hey, you should go over and push her out of the way. And suddenly you're like, I should.
I have known, I think, five girls who have been on The Bachelor.
Okay.
And
first of all, that's like an overwhelming amount of people.
I'll just say that, and I don't want to call them out on it, and I shouldn't. And these girls were all very nice.
Okay.
They are not the smartest people in the bunch. And half of them are doing what we've talked about, which is they're trying to develop their brand. The thing that Athena said, I've got a hair salon, I want people to be lining up.
Yeah, I want them to know my name.
Half of them are doing that.
Everybody's there for opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly. And the other half, they're not dumb. I'm not saying these people are stupid, but let's be honest. You're on a reality show. The reason we watch reality shows is to watch the train wreck.
Right.
If you are volunteering for the train wreck, there's a reason, and that reason's not going to be flattering. It's just not.
True.
God love them, So I see these girls getting manipulated, and I think in real reality shows, they probably manipulate them a little more subtly. Okay. But even so, if somebody says to you, hey, Nick, like, what's Bobby been saying about you? Is this true? Your initial reaction is going to be guard up anyways. And be like, wait a second, what? What are you talking about? So, when you take your phones away and you take lines of communication away between the girls, so you isolate them.
They're the only ones that control the communication.
Exactly.
Of course, it's kind of like also you just want somebody to confide in, because given based upon, I know people who work behind the scenes in reality TV, but they do develop these friendships with the characters on the show, and it kind of is to kind of reel them in, bite the bait, and develop this storyline about them to get to that train wreck. Yeah. So you definitely see that happening. I saw that on one of the reality shows not too long ago. I'm not going to say the name of the reality show, but I saw that, and the producer actually was on camera, and she was like, I've been talking to her for years, blah, 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 but that's what they do. That's part of their job.
Shady.
And after a while, and I think somebody like Nene Leakes has done this. There's a lot of people on a lot of shows who've done this. After a while, you almost take pride in what you do. If you're the villain or the outspoken one. And Real Housewives are different because those seasons are recurring. The Bachelor, you get one shot. Yeah. But it is kind of that. Maybe Athena at this point, we're kind of seeing that with her. She comes in as a normal person, and then they say, hey, do you want to be the bitch? And she's like, I'm up for it. Right. And she almost starts taking pride in that role. And then it becomes kind of a troll job for her. And she's like, I'm not here for love. I never was here for love. Let's have some fun. And that's when we on TV watching this say, okay, let's have some fun.
Because we're so into it.
That's and he kind of... the guy, one of the producers on the show, he kind of helped her realize what you're here for, what you're all about, and it's kind of like, oh, you know what? I do want to get that salon. So it's kind of like go mode, beast mode.
And I love the racial shots at The Bachelor. First episode they had some, and now when what's her name, the other black girl came out first, and they were like, no, we lead with a white girl, America's racist, or whatever they said. And then in this one, when the producer Jay was like, honey, no black woman has ever won on this show.
What did he say? There was like one in the top 4.
Yeah, or whatever it is. Like, we need you to play a role. And you see that and you're like, oh, that's brutal. But then you watch The Bachelor and you read a lot of the criticism of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and you say, that's a pretty bad shot.
Right.
And you can debate the truth, I guess, and The Bachelor has their story, but from what we see, it looks true. That's what's so damning about that.
And I think that's why they would put this sort of a plot in. They're aware. They're very aware, I think, at what they're poking fun at in The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And that's why things like that are what make me think, okay, how many of these, what do you think their research was? Did they have people that were working on the crew in The Bachelor? Did they interview after the fact? What do you think?
I wonder if they had a mole. Somebody was just feeding them information.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We got to do a little bit more research on the show because I know they've done a lot of interviews, so we'll bring that. So if you guys are watching at home and you're an UnREAL fanatic, actually tweet us, YouTube us, comment if you know some stuff or you know some good links. That's something I want to look up this week because that's interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I wonder, and just maybe the last big question for you guys before we get to predictions and all that other stuff, is will this show, I know we're only 2 episodes in, but will this show change the way we as a society look at The Bachelor or reality TV in general?
No.
Or is this just a mockumentary? It's kind of funny.
Mockumentary, kind of funny.
Not even, because here's the thing. I watch this show. I talk about this show for an hour, and I'm like, oh, how fake is it? And yet I go watch, like, The Real World, and I'm obsessed with it. And I'm like, oh, my God, who did that? So, no, because we want what we want, so we'll buy into it. I think that's the case. Until we're like, we will not do this. We will not, turn on and give them the view, which I don't think we'll ever do.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of the situation is reality TV isn't dying anytime soon. So that's just the world that we live in. And I don't see it kind of shaping or changing the way we view things or view reality TV. Me as a person, I know watching it, I'm like, ooh, this is so bad, but it's so good at the same time, So I'm not going to flip the channel. Yeah. It's intriguing me. So, yeah, we're going to keep on watching.
I kind of agree with you. We do Kardashians, man. I mean, we do. I'm doing a reality show called Secrets and Wives right after this. I look forward to it all week because it's so awful. It's amazing. And that's, I think, why we watch.
Plug.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and people aren't, I hate to say this, but it doesn't seem like people are getting hurt because we look at it as a train wreck. We don't look at it as emotional harm.
Is like, as much as we see all this actual, like, really hurt people on this show, like a lot of, like, Anna this episode, I watch a lot of reality TV and, like, there's a number of things I can think of, but there's not often that. I think there is a little bit more ethical standards going on. Right. That's just my excuse to keep watching reality TV. So, yeah.
But side note. So everybody out there knows I like to dance. That is my thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we do.
I heard you have 2 left feet, so I don't know what you do. But I like to dance. So I want to tell you guys about this really cool and amazing opportunity. You guys can now apply for Dance Battle America, which is ABC's newest competition special. It's from our very own AFTERBUZZ founder and e-host Maria Menounos and Julian Huff from Dancing with the Stars. So they brought you ABC's special Dance Battle America. So how this thing kind of came about is that Maria and Juliana kind of did this social media dance battle thing. Other celebs got into it, like Amber Riley, Kate Hudson. I'm going to get into it too. And then this is where this dance battle craze begun. So now the ladies are challenging everyone in America to battle it out. So, I love me a challenge. So you have a chance to fly out to Los Angeles to compete on the dance show. And here is how you do it. You want to go to www.dancebattleamericacasting.com for more information on how to submit your video. And don't forget to post it on social media and tell all your homegirls, all your homeboys, your mama, your grandmama, everybody to hashtag Dance Battle ABC, because you might see me on it. Hey.
I went on that website, dancebattleamericacasting.com. I went on that website the other day to check it out because we've been hearing about all this stuff the last couple of weeks, and they give you like 5 or 6 songs you can choose from. I would choose Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. That's just me.
I want to see your video. I would really
I've committed myself to another AfterBuzz host that her and I are going to make a video together.
Okay.
Well, let's start out with we gotta first battle it out. I mean, to get to Taylor Swift, you gotta surpass Asia Monet. So let's see if you can do it.
Wow.
I couldn't agree more.
On that note, on Twitter too, #DanceBattleABC, like Asia was saying. Guys, let's do predictions. I do not want to talk about dancing anymore.
And now, your AfterBuzz
You scared, y'all.
predictions.
All right, I gave up a pretty damn good one, I think,
You gave like 5 predictions during the
What
episode.
else is new, Bobby?
When you're the best, you got to go before the rest. So you two.
Oh, man. I'll toss it to you. Yeah.
That is so wrong. No, so I definitely see Shia and Rachel's character, kind of like I said, going head to head. You kind of get a glimpse at it. Rachel's definitely going to drop the ball on one of these assignments that she's given, and Shia is going to be that token prize possession to Quinn. So we're going to kind of see that happen, and that may be when Rachel's kind of like, you know what, I'm too good for this. Let me throw in the towel, and kind of that may be her walking. That may be what sends her walking, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We're also going to see Adam and Rachel. I think they're going to hit it off.
Yeah.
They're going to get it on.
That's my
okay?
biggest.
I think it's kind of like, let me just get this in one time. We don't have to be anything after this. But for right now,
I don't even think it's going to be one time. I think it may start as it, but
Friends
they
with
are
benefits.
going to. I would put my life on this, and they're going to end up
But
hooking
I
up
think-
real soon, too.
I think Adam is into her more than she's into him. And it's kind of like this, I'm going to play with you, and I'm going to kind of get what I want because you're here. But
You think, because she doesn't have anybody right now.
yeah.
And she doesn't seem like the type of girl that just takes a back seat and puts her love life on hold. I think she is pretty set. Like, if not Adam, who else?
Exactly, because
She's
Jeremy, not no time soon. Given that, especially with the video
maybe
and all of
after
that
the
stuff.
video that breaks up
leaking.
Lizzie, and maybe sometime real soon.
Nah, Jeremy's not gonna come back that easy, but he is fine to look at.
My wild card, and maybe she'll win the competition. I don't know what the hell that even means, because Rachel and Adam, I think you guys are right, at least in the short run. My wild card's going to be Faith. I think there's something there, man.
She's not going to win the competition.
She is crazy.
Something there. There's something there with that girl. She's
What?
She's the realest one. She's the one who doesn't like the BS. I think Adam is intrigued by her, and I think she's going to come back, and we will see her down the road. Athena's going to get eliminated. Pepper's going to get eliminated. I
Okay,
think
yes,
Faith's gonna
but
stick
Adam
around.
likes it like Quinn said because she's like, oh, they like to have their locker room chat.
And I think Adam is going to screw up the entire show with Faith, and Faith is going to factor in at the end in some weird way. And I'm not saying she's going to come between Rachel and Adam, but get ready for her. She's going to stick around.
Okay.
And, of course, my other prediction about Quinn leaving and Rachel taking her, but, whatever. Okay, so we want to hear predictions from you guys, as we always do. So if you haven't already, I know we had live chat going. Nick, any good comments in
Someone
there?
actually just said they read that a person who produces this show worked in The Bachelor. I'm not sure if that's true. I will have to do some research on
Well,
that.
look it up. I can believe it.
Yeah.
But we want to hear you guys' predictions at home. So if you are watching on YouTube, comment in the comments box. We check that all week. If you're on iTunes, this show is brand new, so we would love it if you rate us, 5 stars, hopefully, because these two are awesome. I am average, but they'll bring our score up. And if you are on Twitter, you guys can tweet us. Asia, where can they find you on?
You can find me at Aja M Seldon. That's Aja spelled AJA.
And you can find me at NicholasGrava on Twitter and Instagram and everything.
I'm at Bobby DeMuro on Twitter. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for more UnREAL. Good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.